today I wanted to go over our food shop budget and how we keep our food shop to like quite a low price as a young family. Now, anytime I've posted over on TikTok like my monthly budget routine, anything like that, people are always like, how is the food shop so low? And basically we keep to around about £70 a week between us, so that's like £35 a week each, and it's taken us ages to get to that point. At the end of the video I just have a little bit more of a heart-to-heart around money, food shop, the cost of a food shop, so I would absolutely love it if you didn't mind sticking around to the end and just hearing me out a little bit. First tip I have for bringing a food shop down into like your budget and get it to like hit a certain figure that you want it to be at every single week is to figure out what that figure is. We had an idea of like how much we would be comfortable with allotting to a food shop per month, divided that by 4 across the weeks, and then kind of aim for around that figure. So for us it's around like the £70 mark. And then the next thing is basically something that my fiance taught me, so I'm basically just teaching you what I've just learned. When I was a uni student, I literally used to just have like pasta and dolmio sauce or pasta and pesto every single day. Like that was all I would ever eat. And so if I was to ever try and cook a meal or like look at any other type of meal, it felt so expensive to cook that meal because I had none of the ingredients in. Like I had no spices, herbs, didn't have any of it. And so what we did when we moved in together and we started to like shop together is we basically did a weekly food shop, and we would always pick up a couple of different things. Even if we didn't need it for any of the meals that week, it helped us build up our cupboards to have more at reach so that we can make a variety of meals and just have those things in stock. As an example, please don't judge because I know it's not nicely organized by any means. Cupboard I just would not have had when I was younger at uni, so we have, again, I need like a better organization for them, but all of the spices and stuff in there, loads of things up here. And then if I show you, again, this is just like a cheap storage box. I'd love to have it nicer. But yeah, we basically have stock and stuff like that always in. We have so many of like these sachets and stuff for meals, and then we basically always have more in our cupboards as well in terms of like tinned food and stuff. So again, it's hard to grab a snack in this house because we are a proper ingredients household, but we'll always have like black beans, kidney beans, tins of tomatoes, passata. Basically, because we've built up our food cupboards and our like ingredients, when we do a weekly food shop, we're just buying in the fresh things. So we're buying in like fresh veg, fruit, typically around 3 different meats. So we will have like mincemeat, chicken, and something else typically. Bread, wraps for fajitas and stuff like that. Like that's the kind of like fresh stuff that we'll get in, and then we'll always have other stuff kind of in the cupboards that we're just building up over time. Now, this may seem a bit boring, but the other way that we've brought our costs down is by trying to make dinners that just package up for lunch the next day. And that can be a bit tricky sometimes because you do get sick of the same taste, I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes we're like, you know, if we do a bolognese one week, we'll have had that bolognese a couple of times over by the time it gets to the end of the week because that's like done us for lunch as well. Just for instance, we did like flavoured chicken last night using a sachet for like a fajita wrap, and then for lunch today there's like chicken and everything to just like remake those wraps. There's some tips on bringing the cost of the food shop down. I hope they were helpful. It's honestly taken us ages because it's meant that we've had to build up our cupboards to have more ingredients, but I definitely think doing that like once a week with every food shop, even if you don't need it for certain meals that week, you'd be so surprised how helpful it is down the line when you end up buying something and you've looked in your cupboards and you're like, oh, I already have everything I need for that meal, I just need the meat. Then you're like, okay, amazing. Well, there's like loads of amazing tips on how to keep your food shop to a bit of the budget and like how we've managed to do it across like the 4 years and build up like a base for ourselves and all of that. Part of me feels a little bit uncomfortable in sharing tips around like budget food shops and things. I was trying to think while I was getting ready like why I feel that way, and I think for me, once you put like a price on something and you share how much you pay for it, it is very easy for another person to feel like, well, mine's not cheap because I'm over that. But it is all relative. Like you might have a higher food shop, not have as high of a childcare bill as we do because we both work full time and stuff. Like, it's so relative, and like, trust me, once our disposable income increases when our like 30 hours of funded childcare kicks in September, the first thing you will see increase will be our food shop. I don't think it's necessarily like a negative thing to have a higher food shop bill. Do you know what I mean? If you're happy with it and like everything works to a budget, you're able to save what you want to save, you're able to do stuff like this, like, and you've looked at other areas of your life and like maybe brought costs down there and stuff, and you're just like, do you know what, I'm actually like, we enjoy our food shop, we enjoy our food as a family for a week, like I'm happy with that. I think that's like absolutely fine. And that might seem a bit weird to be like, I can't wait for our food shop price to go up, but for me, I grew up like very low income, like incredibly low income, and so food and like a variety around food and stuff was just never something I was actually exposed to at all. And I think we do a really good job of having lots of variety and lots of different veg, different meats, like how we can create different meals and stuff like that for our daughter, and you know, she thrives in it and she loves it and stuff. But I want to be able to do that bit more, and I think like it's honestly taken me, and this might sound weird to some people, but it's taken me to get to 27-year-old with a child to actually love food and experience it for, I feel like what it actually is. And I think there are a couple of price tags to food, right? So there is the cost of the ingredients, but there's also the cost of time as well. So like there's two types of luxuries there. Like when I'm like looking at some like cookbooks and things like that, there are so many luxuries involved in these recipes. Like there is the cost of the ingredients, but there's also the amount of time it can take to cook this, and that is a luxury in and of itself. And so for me, it's kind of like there's been a lot of barriers across my life to be able to have like variety of food and lots of different meals and like really nutritious and healthy and like cultured foods in the home. I'll never forget going to a friend's house and like her mum asking me if I knew what some vegetables were while she was cooking, and she would be like, do you know what this is and stuff, and I didn't know. Like I had no clue. And I've had so much embarrassment around money for so many reasons growing up quite low income and stuff, but I remember that being one where I was just like, okay, this is different, like things are different to what I know. It's like super important to me to be able to like spend more when we can, and it's a priority of a spend for us, do you know what I mean? So I would probably not always in my content going forward and stuff kind of like preach about budget food shops and like try and get the price as low as I can just for content, do you know what I mean? Like this is the state of our finances now, so that's the budget that we work to now. But honestly, give it a year and hopefully it's actually higher. I want people to know that it's all down to like your family's finances, where you're currently at. If you're looking to save a bit more on a food shop, I hope these tips help. I post regularly on here now. I'm going to try and post a couple of times a week, so I will see you in the next video.